Hello friends, Washington DC and New Delhi. The distance between these two cities is thousands of kilometers. There is also variation in language, food, disguise and standard of living. The atmosphere is also different. The content of newspapers available in Delhi differs in almost every other page, including the front page, in comparison to the newspaper we get in Washington DC. Despite many such differences, there is only one thing in common, that is suicide. India, as per the latest central government data, recorded 1,53,052 suicides, an average of 418 daily cases last year. The National Crime Records Bureau, in an annual report, stated that the figures for 2020 were more in comparison to 2019, when 1,39,123 suicides were recorded in the country. Suicides are probably the most serious issue today in India. So today in this video, we at the Upfront will try to analyze this issue of suicide, look into the problems and solution. Before we move ahead, please subscribe to the Upfront and press the bell icon to get notification of all our updates. I'm Nihal Muhammad and you're watching the Upfront. According to the National Crime Record Bureau, there were 1,39,123 suicides in the country in 2019. That means 381 people die by suicide every day. The suicide rate in 2018 was 1,34,516 and in 2017 was 1,29,887. This is very scary. The number of suicides continues to rise every year. It is estimated that more than 8 lakh people commit suicide globally every year. India accounts for 25% of it. Between 1987 and 2007, suicide rates in India have increased from 7.9 to 10.3 per lakh. 48,000 people aged between 18 to 30 committed suicide in 2019. Similarly, the year 2019 was most deadly for students. According to a report by the National Crime Record Bureau, one student commits suicide every 1 hour. A total of 10,335 students committed suicide in 2019, the highest in the last 25 years. Between 1995 and 2019, 1,70,000 students committed suicide. The total number of suicides between 1995 and 2008 was 85,824. What may be the reason? Besides, all of these reports date back to the period before COVID-19. The corona period has made people's lives worse. Corona has made a bad name for troubling people financially and from a health point of view also. Most suicides are the result of the emotional decision taken at a moment. Experts say that if positive suggestions and condolences were available at that moment, maybe they would not have decided to take such a huge step of suicide. Another thing we need to note is that people who commit suicide also know that suicide is not a solution to any problem. Coffee Cafe Day owner and well-known businessman Siddharth committed suicide by jumping into the Netravati river in Mangalore. It would be absurd to say that a person who ran an enterprise worth billions and employed thousands of workers did not know that suicide was not a solution. Another reason for suicide may be lack of consultation and lack of respect. When there is a problem, it is essential to find solutions instead of living in self-loathing. Younger people grow up watching the elders. Crime report states that one student commits suicide every day in India. The 10th grade student is not older than 16. Do you think this age is considered to be suicidal? If you just think about this carefully, you can probably conclude that there is a huge impact of elders committing suicide on children. There are young children who commit suicide only because they were not given a mobile phone or that their parents have scolded them. Anger, cramping and persistence in children are common, but how can a dangerous thought such as suicide originate in them? Perhaps it is the motivation of the elders that caused such a horrible thought to rise in them. Besides, is education making the case worse? What is the reason for the increase in the number of suicides as the number of people who are educated increases? Today, there is a lot of progress on both fronts compared to the level of education and the living conditions that existed 3 decades ago. Society has grown intellectually. People have become more financially empowered. If education plays a pivotal role in the overall development of the people, then why are the suicide cases rising? Is education and suicide unrelated, or does education instill in a person an infinite desire? Is it so that it is motivating unsolicited desires within people, making individuals vulnerable? Why does today's educated society fail to face the challenging situation that our illiterate elders faced without much trouble? Here's an important point to note. The rate of suicide in the Muslim community is very low. Although the Indian Muslim community is inferior in comparison to other communities in regards to education and other parameters, Muslim community is a model for all other communities when it comes to low suicide rate. What causes this situation? It is a researchable fact. Despite these difficult times, the Muslim community does not choose suicide as an option. It has to be said that the religious teachings play a huge role in this. Suicide is considered a sin by Islam. It says that those who commit suicide are hell dwellers. Suicide graph itself shows that this strict stance of Islam has had a profound effect on the Muslim community. As per the NCRB data on suicides published in 2014, percentage of suicides among Muslims was much lower, 9.2% compared to their share in population, that is 14.2%. Another thing that man needs to keep in his mind always is that this world is only an illusion which will fade away anytime. If man can live his life with utmost simplicity, keeping in his mind that one day he has to leave all this and live this world to be awakened again on the day of judgment or hereafter. Only the belief in man that this world is temporary and there is another life where he will be judged as per his deeds in this life will make sure that suicides reduce by a large margin. Man needs to understand that ending this temporary life will not end his suffering or misery. He needs to think and ponder upon the fact as to what will happen to him after his death. He must try to find answers to these questions. He must know the fact that death is not the end, but it is only the beginning of an eternal life. Let us hope that more research papers are presented on this issue and the various angles that I have presented in this video are discussed more and more in both the public sphere and the intellectual circles. If you like the content we provide, please subscribe to the Upfront and press the bell icon to get notification of all our recent updates. Please share our videos and educate others. Thank you.